Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK-specific independent home gym tips and advice. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the what I call the hybrid athlete or the hybrid trainees conundrum. What is a hybrid trainee? What I'm talking about here is people who run and who lift and who do those in parallel, knowing full well that your running is taking away from your lifting. Your strength, you won't hit your strength goals as effectively as you could if you had more rest in your program. You won't hit your running goals as effectively as if you were lifting a little less, and you weren't pursuing strength goals quite so aggressively. Now, I've come up with, I've sort of been doing this for a while, and I love it. I don't want to do anything different. I don't want to change. I don't want to be a pure runner. I don't want to be a pure strength athlete, strength trainee. I don't want. I'm fully locked into the hybrid kind of way of thinking, and I love it because it gives me the ability to run long distances and to lift heavy weights, and I think that's fantastic if you can do both of those things. If you start finding ways to incorporate both of those into your life, I think that you will feel a lot of benefits. You will enjoy being strong and you'll enjoy having endurance at the same time. But there is, a dark side of this. And the dark side is that basically you're up against this sort of a frustration that will haunt you at every single step, because you will always know that the guy that can lift 20, 30 kilograms more than you, he doesn't run. So he has more recovery time, and he maybe has a couple of rest days a week. And that's why he's able to do that. And he can afford to be a bit heavier. Conversely, the guy that beats you by 10 minutes, whatever, in your next marathon or whatever, more than likely he doesn't lift very much. Maybe he does one day a gym work or something like that per week, but he's not at all interested in building up upper body, doing overhead presses, doing bench presses and stuff like that. He's going into the race 10, 15 kilograms lighter than you. So, what I've found is that there's a sort of, you're butting your head against the wall. You're in the sort of conundrum here. Knowing all the time that you could be just that little bit better if you were to, fully commit to one side or the other. The tool that I use to cope with this basically is compromise. You must compromise. You must be able to realize that you will always be a little bit slower than the next guy because you have committed to this way of life. And you will have to say to yourself, that guy beat me, or if you don't want to be competitive against a particular person, you're taking it, you're looking at it in terms of yourself, I'm not quite hitting my strength, my speed goals, my time goals. I really, really want to break through this particular, for instance, I want to make a 3-hour 30 marathon. Like that's what I want to hit. That's the time I want to do. Get it within 3 hours and 30. How can I do that? I'm 10 minutes shy all the time. I'm 15 minutes shy, half an hour shy. Well, remember that you're carrying 10, 15 kilograms around of muscle around with you more than the next guy, or more than you could be if you were fully committed to running. And you must be able to tell yourself, this is the thing, when you see someone beat you, who's quite slim or whatever, you think, well, okay, he can beat me, and I could be that slim. And in my case, I was once completely committed to running. I was that slim, and I was so much faster, and I could do these times that I want to do now. But I was not strong. I was not strong. I could not deadlift, even 100 kilograms back then. I wouldn't have been able to pick it off the floor. I wouldn't have been able to squat, 50, 60, 70 kilograms, whatever. You must be able to tell yourself, yeah, but I can also do this. I can also, maybe even on race week, if I had to, I could go and push, 60 kilograms overhead. I think that that's something you need to be able to tell yourself. You must remind yourself, and don't try to be Superman. Don't try to be the guy that can do it all. You must be able to say, okay, I'm not, I am something of a jack of all trades, because that's what a hybrid athlete is. And I have to accept, okay, I'm good. I'm a good runner and I'm a good strength athlete, but I'm not exceptional at either, because I want to do both at the same time. And just being able to add that element of compromise to your, to your internal monologue, basically, I think will help you if you're on this journey and you're having like moments when you're sort of like asking yourself, what's the point of this? Why am I never getting close to my goals? You're just going to have to be more patient than the average guy. You're going to have to be way, way, way more patient than him. And if you really, 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 if one of those goals becomes more important to you, then maybe you start going over and being, more of a runner or more of a strength athlete, and you come back to the other side when you want to. But if you're going to do them both at the same time, you're going to have to add that element of compromise to the way that you treat, the way that you think. Basically, you have to be a little bit kind to yourself and say, look, I am trying to marry two very, very different things together here. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to you, but for me, when I have moments of disappointment, it does, if I think about it in that way, then it does help me a lot. Anyway, I wonder what your thoughts are. Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear, particularly if you're a hybrid trainee and you're sort of struggling with these things, I'd love to hear what you have to say. And please do check out our website, that's ukhomegym.com. Please also like, share, and subscribe. That really helps me to grow the channel. And I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.